I'm here, Peter. You hear my music? That face too loud. I feel like I gotta talk over it. What's up, everybody? Wait for some more people to get on. So, are you wearing all black to signify the loss of your ally? What ally? What are you talking about? Oh, because Dan sent me did a video of me today. Whatever. Don't you know? So I want to start maybe today with some news. See what's going on in the world. Talk about the different sessions of time for futures, and then also talk about the rollovers. You know that where contracts are starting to roll over. So maybe explain that a little bit, and then we can go to the charts. You're right. Get my gasolina. Oh yeah, nice and cold. That's an energy drink. It's not beer, just in case. So today all we really had was ADP weekly employment change. It didn't have a forecast. That's actually interesting. Previous was 14.8, and then now it says that 9,000 jobs were added. Pending home sales went up 1.8%, which is actually good news in the real estate side of things. And then tomorrow we have a big day. Tomorrow we have CPI, core CPI month over month. So we have to see if these oil prices are starting to. Remember, I had mentioned that before, that most likely we're gonna need. We're gonna have to see how the CPI data is gonna come in month over month based on the oil prices higher. See if now it's starting to reflect. Sublays starting to reflect. So we got the core CPI PPI. Sorry, price. The price index and a PPI as well. Sorry guys, let me always say it. Core PPI is Well, it's not. The Fed looks more at CPI, core CPI, than anything. So we got crude oil inventories. That's going to be interesting to see how much the crude oil, if they add it to the to the inventory or what. And then tomorrow is a big day because now we have the federal funds rate. So the Fed is tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to see if they're going to raise or keep rates the same. So the forecast is that they want to leave it the same, 3.75. Most likely it's going to stay the same. But the statement is going to be what's most important tomorrow. So the statement and the press conference, what he says afterwards, is going to be key because we're going to see what he's thinking about. When I say he, the Fed, what are they thinking about? What's happening with Iran, if that's affecting the market. I don't know if he's going to really mention much about that. He's not supposed to. I think he's not supposed to say his opinions on the war, but how it will affect the war, maybe. Trump wants interest rate to drop. Exactly, he does, but they're not going to do it, and then Trump is going to call them names. So tomorrow we have that. Right now, you see down here, where the Sydney, Australia has been open since the open at 6. We're at the Tokyo market now, so Asia session is in session at 8 p.m. our time. That runs to London opens at 4 a.m. our time, Eastern Standard Time. So I wanted to talk about that a bit, show you guys, what's going on. What do we have here? We have decimated Iran's military. He keeps on with the same rhetoric, like they're winning the war, they're winning the everything. So we'll see how that affects. There's been rumors that Netanyahu is probably gone, which I don't know if that's true because they're saying other videos that are coming out are like AI and stuff. So who the hell knows? With that, I wanted to jump into Erwin. What's up? I wanted to jump into we're in the season where in the season where futures contracts roll over, meaning that you trade what I had mentioned before. Futures contracts, they're not like regular options contracts, equities contracts, because they you trade certain months. So there's usually quarterly months, right? So if you see here, the current month is the March, but then the next contract after that is June, right? And then September and then December. So you see it's quarterly. So you have the expiration is on the 21st, and they begin to roll today. So they began to roll today, meaning that most people start opening up that new contract, and now they trade that other contract. So what you see between today and tomorrow is very similar to what you see when you have those triple witching, when they're expiring those contracts. You see a lot of volatility because one contract starts losing volume because everybody starts moving over. So it's very important I would say today already start moving over to the June contract if you're looking at that, which would be the letter M. Right now, I think the H is the one that's is July. M would be so if you're trading the ES or NQ or CL, which is oil or silver or gold, they would end with the ES and then M or ESH. So now you go to ESM and then the year 2025, sorry. And then you have but if you notice here, you could even trade contracts that are far out as 2026 and 2027, but there's barely any liquidity in that, but you can. So I kind of wanted to touch that a bit so you guys understand that if you see that that the broker is probably telling you to roll over contracts or something, that's because of that. Okay. With that being said, let's go to the chart. Oh boy, look at that. Wow. Asia came into trade. Well, we know that today the market took off in the beginning in the morning pre-market before 9:30 a.m. and it just skyrocketed. Even after the open, it skyrocketed all the way to around 10 o'clock. And then after 10ish, it started, fading out. Then it dropped a bit, maybe gave about 40-50% retracement of the move. Then it dropped a little more, and then it chopped the rest of the day. If you see here, it was going up, but it was just choppy the rest of the day. So the trade today was, at the open or before the open or after the open, right? 9:30 open. After that, maybe trade it, traded it up a bit or traded it down, and then that's it. After that, everything got sucked out of the, liquidity got sucked out of the market, and it just went sideways. And I'm thinking that maybe the Asia session, we'll see what happens. If it pops, and then we'll see what happens tomorrow. If they're just going to leave it, going sideways for a bit until the Fed speaks. What's up, Patrick? What's up, back off? Dan, what's up? I wanted to show you guys something special today. So this is a friend of ours that he just wanted to do something special for us after we went racing. So I just wanted to show you that. And that, my friends, was Peter. The famous Peter you see there, HT, that was Peter. We told him not to do it. We told him, leave that. Please leave that out. Leave that for another day. Maybe, when you're in the hotel or something, you want to, but, don't do that at the track. And he still did it at track. Well, we can't stop no judgment. When you're a certain way, you want to be like that everywhere you go. So we try to stop him, but he just wanted to, go crazy. So exactly, Erwin. That was real. I'll show it later again. That's right. Don't play with me. Wow, market's ripping here. Kind of reminded me of the other day that when we got on, it started like writing up again. I have here on the NQ the fibs. Let me turn them on for the ES. I have them further back, so I gotta move them to today. Or previous week. Look at that. So we do the previous day high. Is it gonna start at 6? I should do the previous day. Yeah, previous day. So we're doing previous day so we can get today's high at the open and New York session, because at 6 o'clock starts like the next day for futures. So we're doing previous day high. There we go. And I'm gonna use the daily low. So here we go. We're heading towards that golden pocket. NQ went right into the golden pocket. Here's retesting. So maybe continue higher. Very nice. We got strong RSI oversold conditions right now. MACD is way positive. Everything is looking really bullish. Do I have something open here? Rob called in the airstrike. Yep. I have no problem, Peter. I'm Americano. Puerto Ricans are Americanos. If we see anything what do you think, Dan? We get a trade off of this golden pocket here? Took it too early, maybe? Let's see. I'm gonna give us a freaking pump back up. 34 countries. Oh, I'm trading this. See if it finds support on this golden pocket here. Since there's so much momentum to the upside. Yeah, right. I have a tight stop, so there was no continuation. I should have waited. I took it too early, maybe. We'll see. I could have took it a little further inside the golden pocket. Freaking NQ. Look at that, right in the golden pocket. You see, I had taken it too early. I should, if I would have taken it there, put my stop a little lower, I would have been up already a lot. Golden pocket, baby. The power of the golden pocket. I don't want to look. I don't want to look, Peter. Uh, I should have took it. Why are we having so much resistance there? It was last time. Look left. Remember? Boom. Come on. We have a nice little gap up here. There you go. There you go. Took this too early. I would have most likely cut it right here if I would have gotten out. Come on, give it a little push. There you go. Come on. Please. I know. I'm live, bro. I can't be. I hate trading live anyway. I should have probably taken another contract down there. I'd like to add to it if it was so red. My, here's where we're supposed to get some more pumpy. That was a crappy trade. What the hell? Negative. Closing it. $30. I got some ice cream money. Yeah. I wanted it to go to at least a 50%. It might pump there, but I didn't wanna. I got in too early. Once you realize you got into a trade kind of bad, it kind of like messes up your psychology on it. So it was like, well, because if I would have taken it down here, like, look, you see what it did right into the golden pocket. I kind of wanted it to like do this and go, but it dropped more. So if I would have gotten it around here somewhere, I would have written that up. That would have been easy $300 with that one contract. He sold. Pump it. Well, if it comes right back down and I get maybe some consolidation here, I could take it again. I'm at 51.8 on this one. I need about another 1,000 something to pass that one. The hell is this? Nah, bro. Yeah. Let's check the ES. See, ES is consolidating here. You know, they've been a bit like they lost some. There was some divergence today, and that's why it was that. But it makes sense when those roll over. Yeah. No, I could have. I should. It was that I got in. I got in too early, Peter. If I would have gone down here, my thesis was correct. I wanted it to bounce off the golden pocket, which it did. But I just didn't like that it kept playing. To get a couple more ticks up, I might as well just get out and reset. Gotta practice what I preach. This is a energy drink, not beer, just in case. I know, just playing, bro. You're doing the right thing. I would have blown by that. Yeah. Peter, stick to what you're good. This is like go to sleep music, right? Like what the hell? Damn. That's messed up, bro. That's so messed up. That hurt more than a video, Peter. That hurt more than a video, bro. He said, hey, people are watching 700 bots. Damn. That's messed up, bro. Is there a way I can take you guys out of the stream? I know, but are real. Tough crowd, tough crowd. Yeah. Dan. You leaving, Dan? It's all right, bro. Exactly. Oh, was it? Yeah. Actually, that's why when I said look left, that's where it last crashed here. You see, it popped strong, and then it kind of like got found resistance and dropped again. So there's gonna be a major level here. Really good point. A really major level here. 25. Yeah, let's call it the 50% fib level here at the 25. 055. Yes, I mean, this is gonna be maybe a night where this is gonna be just like choppy because of the rollover. And I think the ES1 and then Q1 is already using the older contract, the newer contract. Sorry, is there effect? Can I see that? Yeah, you see the front month ESM 2026. So TradingView already rolled it over. ESM and the NQ should be the same. NQM, yep, that's the June month. Yeah, down here is a good area to buy, Peter. That 2500 area has been, like, well, when it broke down, that's what kind of like ripped back up above it. Actually, I think it was the 2400, and now it's the 2500. But the good news is that every time it drops into this golden pocket, it finds buying. So they might want to take this back up to the highs of today. of earlier of the New York session, which would be nice. I would like to see this move up back here, back to the highs of the New York session, to then maybe roll over again and drop and just, go into that big range until we get to the Fed. See what direction, because the equities markets were pumping today. You're long on 41. You're scalping it. That's a good one, right up near the golden pocket. I just don't like that it's a little lower, and now this could be a little lower. So if it doesn't break above the previous candle, then it's gonna drop again. And yes, barely has any volume. Look at that. Look at those candles. This is 2 minute. I'll put it 3. Yep, that's me, Peter. Trade Guinness marinated steak fajitas with a homemade roasted. Dang, the cilantro sour cream sauce. Holy moly! Exactly. And brownies. Don't forget about the brownies. Jesus. Oh, we haven't seen oil. Let's see what's oil doing. Sorry. Sideways. Oil has a very obvious range. You see the algo showing a very obvious range from 97.50 ish to 98.50. Like that $1 there up there, and then down here 94, bottom of the demand zone to the top, like 94.35. And there was already one before, so this one made it a little stronger, but it's been in this bigger range for a bit, basically like 6, 7, yeah, like $3 or $4 range. Yeah. If it breaks below this demand zone, Blaze, then we should see it maybe go back down to like Let me see. Let's go to the bigger time frame. Yeah, you see? So let me take out this as well. So that 4 hour is very clear supply there. So we get that 50 EMA around 90, 80, and then the 200 and the pivot is lining up. So yeah, I would say this area here like around 80, 80 something, 84, 85. And if it breaks below that, then we're back to the where it used to be, where it was going sideways the whole time, a little under $70. Yeah, there's low volume today, and tomorrow's the Fed. Remember, Blaze? So they might have done all the all the trading was done already, and now it just chops. Speaking of low, speaking of low height, low weight.
I told them all. Step ladders. They are my life. Every single one.
That's all I got, Blaze. So that's let me go back here. So we got that clear demand there. Chop down here for a bit. If it takes off, then that's gonna bring some pressure to the equities, which might drop. That's why there's been some movement because oil has been slow. Yep. Well, this chops. If there's anything interesting here, you. Breaking the SEC has formally classified 16 assets as digital commodities and it's new crypto. So many people writing some putting some. So the crap you find at X. Did anybody hear about this? Is this true? No, I mean the market would have been forget it. Yeah. Well, that looks real. Yeah. The crap you find exactly a lot of lies more than anything. That's exactly what we're gonna hear tomorrow. That's exactly what we're gonna hear tomorrow. Oh, that's a pump there. Did you get out of that other trade then? See how crazy it is? Just all of a sudden, just like that injection of like, and that's probably a little bit. You know, you got big candles, but it's not a lot that's going on. Dang, are you kidding me? Was there any news? Was there something? $438 is $845. The hell? Couldn't have been caught that move. It broke way past 56. A lot of little consolidation there, and then the breakout. What the heck? Right above this, above the golden pocket. So we have that next level would be that 50% that lines up with this previous pivot here for the ES. So this has to kind of go above it, hold, and then start stepping its way up. Welcome. Nice. You caught that? Jeez, it was just like just hanging out there, and then boom, two big green candles. Now it'll just chop again for another an hour. What's up, Luna? I know, yeah, that was great. Look at that, damn. And I got on my trade. Well, as long as you guys do good, that's what I'm here for, just to show you the charts, ideas, and then if you guys can get a good move out of it, great. I'm happy. Look at that, nice. Believe you, Dan. I know you. I know you. We had three different trades. Yep. That was Dan's trade right there. 3 trades. There they go. Bam, bam, bam. Very nice, Dan. I tell you, I don't know how people like. I don't know if everybody that does futures online actually trades live, but it's hard for me because I'm like talking and I'm trying to like look at what you're saying, and then over here, and it's like I can't concentrate. Then you can't make like the right decision sometimes, I don't know. Oh, it was 3 contracts, okay. Yeah, okay. Let's see what we're at NQ. Let's look left. Yep. This is the next level. They're lining up. The fibs are lining up with the supply zones. Look at that. And with the pivot, look. Fib, pivot, this fib, this pivot and this supply. So this is the next one. See, now I'm not gonna FOMO in this, pisses me off. Maybe ES. If EF breaks out here, I can take it. Let me check the ES. What do we have here? So we have here, yeah, definitely. I would like to get a trade maybe up. That means oil dropped more, maybe? Yeah, it did. Look, oil's about to break that demand zone, Blaze, that we were talking about. And then this will drop more and equities will go up. Exactly, yes. So right now it's going to find resistance. Like here, it found support above it. So resistance, then breaks above, support, hopefully. Yeah, right, Dan? Yeah. I thought it was me. I know some people do it, but I don't know. I can't, and a lot of the people that do it, they have like 30 accounts, 20 accounts. They're all like, just eval accounts that they're just playing with and all that. But like real, like I wouldn't be able to. So I'd rather just show you guys levels, ideas, and I'll take 1 or 2 trades maybe, but that's about it. But I would love here to teach you guys, show, for the newer people, talk about levels. Obviously, I look for confluence. You see, this is confluence here. You have this supply zone aligned with the nice pivot, the 50% fib level. Same thing here for the NQ. Sorry, I'm pointing at the wrong screen. Here, you got here. Now over here, you also have. So you look for confluence, right? You look for areas that are going to fight. So obviously, you see these nice little supply. Well, these are actually these are not demand zones. These are actually like little imbalances that it left. That's fair value gaps that it left. I just have it extended too much. Let me see. Yeah, I have it extended too much. That's why it might be confusing. I remember what's my default. Take this off for now. So these are all imbalances that it left. That's why they could get in and go. If you see these like these, they're not all the way across. That's just an imbalance. That's just some like a fair value gap that it left. They're not demand zones, but they're like little mini demand zones, you could call them. Can you explain how to explain the fair value gaps on screen? Seeing one on the 1 minute. Okay. Yeah, it's very simple. Very simple. I'm gonna give it to you. Very simple. Watch. Let it pop up here. Did I do it? Always remember that a fair value gap is just a term that these traders gave, but it's an imbalance, meaning that this is all buying. You see, buying more than selling. So it left imbalances there. So that means that there's traders stuck there. There's orders that weren't taken. Maybe those are stops that are being hit and taken up. So usually what fair value gaps do on a bit and on bigger time frames is even a little better. But the theory behind it is this. So price will break out here, then come back and retest usually that 50% of the fair value gap, and then bounce from there. So you can take a trade anywhere inside here. So sometimes when it comes in, you see how it came in and it wicked up. So that's how you can take that trade on a 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, 20, 30 minute, whatever you want. Just here, there's so many, stuck together because it's a lower time frame. So that's why sometimes maybe a 5 minute, it might be a little, so you got to see. But usually that's what it's going to have. It's going to find support inside the fair value gap. And on the way down, If it leaves one, a red one, a bearish one, then it would just be the opposite, right? It would be the opposite. Let's just pretend that this is a bearish one. So you come down, comes back, come down, comes back into the fair value gap, boom. And usually it'll find resistance, right? If you're underneath it. That's how you play it. That's simple. But remember the concept behind it. Like we always say, we like to teach here. One thing is saying, well, the blue line, the yellow line, you do this, you do that, and another thing is understanding the concept behind it. You know what the what's happening in the background, and in the background, this is just an imbalance in the price action. Make sense? I mean, did you get it? Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Luna. Yeah, it's an imbalance. Yeah, they consider fair value because people are buying it there, right? But it's an imbalance. What's this here? Which level is this? Oh, this is my 130 session here. So you see, if it's finding support above this 130, the opening of the 130 candle, if it stays above it, you see how cool these levels are. This is a digital time theory. It's called. You see, it came right above it, and it kind of like landed right on top of that 130 opening of the candle, and now it's finding support above it. This usually ends up being support and resistance. So it's above it now, and maybe we're just like sandwiched in a bit of the between this fib level, the 65%. But this is a good sign that maybe it can break higher. So the way you see these things, that's why so many people are like in our group to use the algo, because the algo brings to light these things that you don't have to draw yourself. You see, so let's say this is dropping. Let's say now the price is dropping, right? Dropping. Now you got to find targets, right? So what's going to happen here? Let's say I'm short, and I don't know, in futures this thing could just rip back up. So this would be an area where I have to be careful because I might find some support here. Now, if I see a breakthrough, then I know there's more here. Then there's here. Then all these little areas here. So it's gonna find some resistance on the way down. I know that a move like this, when it comes right back down, it has to either be a big red candle to just to like eat it up, or it's gonna find some resistance down. Because it left that imbalance there. I like to play the top of the imbalance sometimes. So yeah, exactly. This was it right there. You see it, right? This is it right there. Came in, dipped in. Once you see that coming back up, you take that trade if you want. But now look at this. You take this trade up here, but is it worth it? You got a 23.8. You got this supply zone. So is it worth taking this trade to get out here? I mean, I don't know. It's up to you. If you have 2 or 3 contracts and you want to get that small move, it probably is. On the NQ especially. But those are things you have to look when you're trading any stock, right? Any equity. Is it worth the trade to get in here and get out right there? In futures, most likely it is, because it's small moves, you make good money. Here it is. Look, support above that 130, and now we're breaking through these fib levels. You have back, yeah. What did oil do? Oil's it has to be getting finding, yeah. Let's put an alert right there, just in case it breaks down here. We know. And if we see this breakdown, I'm almost 90% sure that this is going to keep going higher. But what does this tell you as well? If this finds support and it breaks up and it starts now breaking up to the upside, then that means they're just going to trade this range, which will be the opposite over here, right? It'll be coming in here and then coming right back down again. That's how you that's looking at correlation. Yeah, but it's just looking strong. Okay. It's kind of far. Yeah, it's kind of far. It would be nice to, yeah, for it to come down and then tap it again. Yep, this is the 9 EMA here. Back up. These are those moves that sometimes it doesn't give you a chance. You got to get in one of those small, because you have, look at the algo bar up here. You have the trend is on your side if you're going long. RSI 77, so it's strong. ES just got strong there. Yeah, exactly. Now it's gaining distance. Unbelievable. What a move if we would have stood in that trade. We're almost back to the top of the range today in NQ. Yep. This is the session high right there. Well, previous day session, the New York session. Right there. So that tells me that if we don't get any higher, they're gonna bring pressure to the ES. If this starts reversing here, it's not gonna allow ES to go back to the highs. Because the ES is taking a little longer to move. Yeah, this move today was explosive. That's why it was huge for the ES, for the SPY. Let's see. People think that when it's trending up, until you really get into it, sometimes trends are so hard to trade. Like you hear traders, especially like volume profile traders and stuff, because once you miss it, you don't want to go long at the top, because at any moment it can drop, right? So you kind of like wait, but then it gives you a little, and then it goes higher, and you're like, dang. So you either got to take the risk and these small little drops, take the trade and see, if it goes up, and if not, get out quick. And then that's how you take advantage of those. You see here, you take a risk, and if it goes higher, great, you won. Here you take a risk, it goes higher, you won. Here, take a risk. If it goes higher, you won. If not, then you get out. That's it. That's the only thing I can probably tell you, and because it's pretty tough. Trading sometimes trends. You see here, back off, how it's coming into this imbalance here, and it's just finding support there, right in here. Oh my lord, then. Thought it was logged in. Need to get my levels so we can post, because I'm thinking we're at the top of the NQ. All right. Let me get these levels real quick. Oh, this is for. Let me see. Trying to exercise my patience. Yeah. Yeah. Wait. With me back off, you're gonna see that. With me, I mean, that's actually if Dan is still around, or we had guys like Joe and all that. Like when we started trading in future in the Discord, the futures channel, we have a lot of people that trade like very fast, very, and I take my time and I find my levels and I wait and so I'm a bit more of a so that's the type of trader I am. I take a little bit more of my time and I try to get a better move. Sometimes I get a more like earlier. See, I took this long here. I mean, literally, if I would have held on to this, look at that move, right? Maybe I would have done something like that, or I would have gotten if I would have been alone, not on the live. You see, so I would have thought differently. But yeah, but patience is key because you're gonna realize that when you take your time and then you take that trade, you wait for that setup, that you take that trade and then it's really good, it's gonna hit you and you're gonna say to yourself, man, this is why I have to wait for my setup, right? Because you got your A setups, your A plus setups, your setups that are a little better, that have more confluence. And then there, when you take it and you get that instant like move in your favor, then you're gonna be, yeah, then you're gonna realize it. You're gonna say, oh, this was good. You know what I mean? It's like that. And but that takes time too. Like when I was in the beginning, I was trading a lot and over trading and like from my phone, from everywhere. It's like you get addicted and you want to like catch every move that you can possibly catch. What time is it? 9:10, 9:30 ish is what we always say. We find some liquidity come in. What time did this happen? 8:45? No, 7:45. Yep. No, 8:45. Exactly, Luna. Yeah, Luna is very patient too. Yep, I know you do. But remember, Dan, that I used to say that I used to be like that. You guys are like crazy scalpers, and I'm always taking my time, and I take longer trades, and then what we sometimes would do it live in the Discord is like, you guys are like, when are you gonna take a trade? We might be at the top of NQ. Yep, we might be at the top. Gotta see. That's why I said this is gonna bring pressure to the ES. The ES might not take it all the way up, but we'll see. Exactly. Exactly. See if oil now breaks out here, it's gonna bring pressure to equities. I'm really tempted to go short if we get a one more spike up. It's very low volume. That's why these weird candles like that. The Discord is through it's a paid Discord through Hot Trades. Through a Hot Trade. So you have to become a Hot Trades member here in the YouTube. Go to the perks members. You become there. The ones that any that don't say sold out, and that'll give you access to the Discord. And then there you have like everything that we do in there, futures, options. I mean everything. Thank you, Dan. There you go. Are we topping out? Shit. I'm just gonna take that short there. I know, Dan. I know. Me too. Because it's like right at the top that it can break out even more. And we've gotten slapped many times there. All right, let's see. Uh-oh. Anyway, I'll cut it if I get a big candle up. Was doing all this, and now it just stays there. Look at that. Look at those small little ticks up. So ridiculous. I hate that. Now it doesn't even move. That's your favorite part? Which one? The one that it drops or pops? It's taking too long, you see. So it's taking too long. Yeah, that could happen too. It could do like a big spike up, to stop, want to stop you out and then drop. Yeah, because at this time the liquidity is low, so sometimes it's like just the data. It takes the time. It is done in real time. It's taunting us in real time. Yeah, man. All right. Have a good one. Yeah, it's a slow night again. And most likely PPI is gonna, that's why. So have a good one, man. Yeah. Don't trade it. It's not worth it. Yep. Have a good night. Thanks for joining, though. Just this nice little. You can see this really clear there. Let's see. Yes, sir. $9:37. It's taking too long. Yep. Stupid candles. And then it's like, you see, 25, it's not like moving. Come on, come back in here, reject this, and it can probably go down. Reject, rejection, drop. Come on, drop it like it's hot. Taking too long. Yeah, I cut it because if it drops, it drops. But now the higher probability of it just finding support here, so it can give you a bigger spike up, and then is higher. So I'm like, I was gonna take the $20 or $30 there, but I was like, forget it. Usually these moves here would be nice if there's momentum, it drops and you get a couple $100 on it. See, these are those things that you have to. I had a one-on-one today. Well, it was something remote, and we were talking about that. Like, you have to learn also to lose or even exit a trade under your terms, right? When you get forced out of a trade, it messes up your psychological, even if it's a small move like this, right? So I leave it, it pops up, it forces me out, with $100 loss, let's say, but I took a loss and I was waiting there for like 20 minutes, to get a loss. So it messes up your psychological part of trading, which is a very big part of trading. And then you kind of like, it messes you up. So might as well get out under your terms, right? So I got under my terms. Now, if it drops, fine, I live with it. But if it goes up, I feel even better, right? Because I made the right decision. Now I can make a decision to get in, to get out, to get in again a little higher up for a short since we're so far up. But the key here is to always like lose under your terms and exit the trades under your terms. The more you can, because that's going to create these neurological pathways, right? Where they're going to start connecting because the more you do the same thing over and over and over, it creates those neurological pathways on how to exit. And now the more you do it, the less it hurts, and now you start executing these trades quicker, right? But sometimes you don't like to feel like stopping that trade, even though you're not even losing, but you felt like you stopped it. Well, I lost because it didn't work out. It didn't work the way I thought it was going to work out, and I had to exit out of it. No, when you start doing that more and more, it becomes less emotional and more like just a reaction, and there you'll become a better trader. I guarantee it if you do that. So even these are the moments where you can practice that. Like if it takes a long time and the trade and you're only down $10, $20, what? Get out. Get out and then just okay, reset again. Then another trade taking too long, it's not going your way, get out again. You know what I mean? And now you start connecting, right? That and in your brain, and your brain is gonna start adjusting, you know? Yeah, this could definitely be rolling over here. Yeah, green is green as well. Yeah. But in this case, I mean more like um getting out like stiff like this, right? It's just taking the trade is just taking too long to execute. It's taking too long for it to do what I wanted it to do. So then, you know, both, Jasani, both. You could have bought here. We took a long here. I took it too early. It dropped and then it ripped up. I got out, and then look what it did. If the golden pocket, it found support and it ripped up. You see that, Jasani? But I also trade supply and demand, so you could also go short on a supply zone. Right now on the NQ, we're in a supply zone near the top of a range, and here we're near at the 50% fib um, area, which is also near a are we near a supply near a pivot? You see, so which could be considered like a supply zone as well. So definitely, that's what you do. So that's where I was going short. I was going just short at a particular level where it's topping on. Then look at this big move that it made, right? So I'm trading a bit of price action, a bit of exhaustion that I'm seeing here probably. Because it's at a top of a range, which is also correlating with the NQ at the top of a range. So I tried to take that trade. It takes too long, but then that's taking long because of the time that we're in, right? The overnight session sometimes is like this, and then there was a big move already. So most likely the trades that were going to be taken in the Asia session, they took it, and now they just let it go. Yep, exactly. At the initial balance high, yep, which is basically the high of the session too. Yeah. So this looks like just price is pinned there. It's just stuck there. Did I answer your question, Jasani? Jasani? There goes trend again. See that? We could break it here. Yes, you did. So I use other indicators. They show me the same zone. Yeah. Yep. This is the one. This is mine. This is the one I created, and so you have a lot of things in one, right? So usually in TradingView, you're gonna have 5 different indicators. Where mine is just one indicator, and you turn them on. It's a multi-tool. So you turn them on, you turn off, and you have it all in one indicator. It takes up just one indicator in TradingView. And then I use that for confluence, right? All these little different areas for confluence. So when different things tell me the same thing, then you have a higher probability setup. So when you see price do something like this in a certain area, sometimes it's just price is pinned there, right? Pin meaning that there's just orders that are put there and they're just not like a ceiling almost, and it's just pinned. The price is pinned there. A very tight range. So buying and selling, or almost no buying and no selling. So they're just pinned there. And you see how these things correlate? The trading rules are. Yeah. 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 Most likely, if nothing happens by 10, then most likely a bigger move will come at 12 or 2. So at the London session, I mean, if we go, let's just do something here real quick. Let's do a 1 hour. Okay. So look at these huge moves. So this was Monday. Monday ripped up, kind of gave it all back. Then to overnight, and then today. Sorry, that was then today is Sunday. This is Monday. So since the opening of Sunday, this has just been popping. So it's been kind of like a pump up, go sideways, some injection of liquidity, then boom, you see that gap up, now sideways again, then move up and sideways again. So we might be seeing a trend here. You see, it's like a move up of volume, and then sideways, up, sideways, up, sideways, up, sideways. So we can go here again, sideways, and then a bigger move tomorrow to go higher, or a rejection. Because look at all this. Look at where we're at here. I'll manually draw it. Where's the? Let's just show you. I don't draw it anymore. So this is all there. A big supply zone there, you see? Then up, a little higher up. But this is a major area of resistance. So tomorrow or tonight, it could come back right in here again. For our NQ people, I would look at 25 250 would be a key area to break above and stay above. If it comes in here again and reject, then we're getting a move back down again. Don't you use volume bars at the bottom? I guess your algo on the top right is. Yeah, so exactly. So the algo on the top is what shows me. See, right here is showing me that there's momentum coming in. So maybe if I go to a lower time frame, we're getting a big candle, a bigger candle, or is it moving? Or not? I mean, related to the time. Well, that's because it was looking at the 1 hour. So the 1 hour, so it showed you more momentum in the 1 hour. It makes sense, more buying volume. Yeah, so my algo bar is like the thought behind it was I had an RSI down here, I had a MACD, I had whatever other oscillators, and then I had three oscillators in my chart all the way up here. So I had all these things, and I said, "What all I really need to know is if the MACD is rolling over and if it's negative or positive. RSI is above 50 is positive. If it's over 70, more or less oversold. 20 below 20, oversold. Sorry, or 70 or higher, overbought. So those are the things I want to see at a glance, and then I know if there's momentum, and then the info bar is telling me if it's bearish, bullish, based on this, right? So it talks to you a bit, and then the RSI, and then the relative volume is always flat until it finds a big move in volume. When it finds higher, 2-3 times the relative volume, you're going to see it spike up, so it'll turn green or red. So that's why I have it at a glance. I don't need to see all those, for me. Correct. They all are. That's right. When you work together, it's better. So you get a MACD with RSI, and you start looking at things, and then right here, what is it, Jasani? Right here, you see this the second column here. This is cumulative delta. So this is showing you selling versus buying. So sellers are overtaking the buyers, then it's red. Buyers overtake the sellers, it'll turn greenish, and then teal if it's like 2 to 3 times more sellers than buyers, or more buyers than sellers. So that tells me also that there's still selling coming in higher, and that's not level 2. That's just like actual orders that are being executed. So to me, this is enough. See, red starting to overturn. This RSI starts getting weaker and weaker and weaker. Then we're gonna probably start turning over. One minute on DS. I'm gonna put 3 minutes. That's why I don't like the 1 minute sometimes, because it's just in the overnight session where there's not a lot of volume. It looks so like barcoding. See, we have a big supply zone here, right there, all red. Price is definitely pinned here. It's definitely pinned here. Yep. So if you look at a footprint chart, take my algo bar, you turn it, and it's almost like a footprint. Think about it. You have the cumulative delta. You have you're adding the MACD and all that, but it's kind of like if you turn it around a little bit, you see it. I always kind of like look at it like that. I mean, it's not exactly that, but you know what I mean. What you see in a footprint, right? You see the, orders coming in, buying versus selling. Yes, it is. You can get it there. And then if you get the algo there, I made a tool, a bot that you can talk to it, and it'll give you strategies based on the algo. So let's say you're seeing this right now, and you're saying like I'm at a top at a supply zone, and I see that the kernel or the 90 MA or whatever is what do you think? And then the bot will tell you, well, based on this, you can try to do that, or be careful with this, or this is what the algo is telling you. I have an options add-on, which is if you get the algo, you just get it. So it's called an add-on, but I'm not charging extra for it. So I literally have like 4 add-ons or 3 add-ons for different things. I have an initial balance. Yes, it's an AI assistant, correct. I have an initial balance. That's the one that Dan uses. Initial balance. So if you want to trade initial balance strategy, you get that too. Yeah. Yeah, just stack those where the price is going to bounce. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could do that with other tools, definitely. Jasani, you can have a person just trading VWAP and just trading a break or rejection of a VWAP, and it works. Supply and demand, and it works. Um, Breakout of an RSI, and it works. Everybody has there's so many different ways in trading. You just got to find your what works for you. Since I provide this for traders, I got to give them a bit of everything, right? And then you pick and choose what you want. Yes, and AI sense it. Maybe later I can show you guys. I'll go to my website and I'll show it to you. It's just tools. I mean, I always tell people I'm not the type of person to sell an indicator like others. That everybody tells me, Rob, put a sell, a buy. I'm not gonna put a buy or sell. I'm not telling you when to buy or sell. I want you to use it as confluence so you can make the decision yourself. So you can have a higher probability or see those areas where you feel that there's a higher probability, and use it even with other tools that you may have. You might see something here that you don't see somewhere else, and then you add them together and you say, dang. When you backtest, you say, every time I see those stacked orders, like you said, Jasani, on a book map or something else, and then you see this, then, whoa, maybe this is a great sign, for me to go short or long. You've currently been trying to find a method to stick with. Yeah, that's all you got to do. And there's going to be things that work out, others that don't, but there's going to be some that you're going to see. It's almost like I joke around. It's like in the movies, when you see something, you're going to see it, and you might see a pattern all the time that others don't, and you see it more like, oh, I've seen this happen a lot. And for some reason, you can trade that better. And that's why you got to wait for it, those setups to show up in the day. And you take them. And that one setup, one trade could be enough. And I'm the type of person that I wanna be consistent in trading. I wanna be able to trade for a long time in my life. And I don't want to be those traders where I'm in and out, and then so many people leave this business, right? I want to stay in it, and I stay in it being consistent by getting small trades. So I could be on here live and I'll make $200 and I'm happy. Make $250 a day. I have a business. I have other businesses. I have things going on. So 250, 300, 500 a day is a lot of money. I mean, how many people can do that? You know what I mean? Sitting from their desk doing a couple of clicks, right? So I'm happy with that. I don't need to be telling people I make thousands of dollars or whatever. I'm happy with making my consistent 250 to 500. Other days, if I get home runs, 1,000. I have various accounts, so I might make 200 here, another 200 there, and those are various accounts, and I'm happy with that. And that's all you have to do. Be happy, but be consistent with those small wins, base hits, and trust me, some of those base hits become home runs. Yep, it is. Yeah, Bookmap. I like Bookmap. I sometimes watch it. I just put it on a YouTube. There, so many people have them, but definitely you have a whole bunch of orders stacked up there, and then they just remove it. That's why I like cumulative delta. So cumulative delta, you're seeing the actual. You can get a cumulative delta trend. A trend of the delta. Like I have also here the algo. You could turn on the delta and this move up, right? And then that shows me, the delta and this move up. Obviously now it's slow, but during the day it works a little better. Or the cumulative delta at the moment in the candle, and I like that more because it's telling me more than somebody putting 1,000 lots or 100 lots up here and then removing it, right? So I go along believing that it's gonna, run up there, and then they remove it. Well, that's the thing. The same way you're focused on having small wins, you got to also be focused on keeping your losers small, right? I was saying earlier, this is a psychological game more than anything. 80 of this is psychological, right? So I can give you the right tool. You can have the right strategy, everything, but that's not going to keep your mind from holding that trade and not taking it when you're supposed to, staying in too long, removing a stop loss, not putting a stop loss. You see? So all that comes from here. It's not the strategy, it's not the tool, it's you, right? So that's where you have to focus. And that's why I was talking about those neurological pathways in psychology. When you have, the neurological pathways are you do something repeatedly and your mind starts now connecting that. So the more you feel hurt by losses, which is normal in life, you bring it to trading, right? But now you get out of that trade. Like I said earlier, you get out when you see it's taking too long and it didn't give you enough. So it didn't go my way. I wanted this to drop. It doesn't drop. Look, it comes back here, comes right back up again. So I'm up $40 or $50, back down again. 30, $40. That's not for me. So I get out. Other people, they don't like that because they feel it. They're like, oh, I'm getting out. It's like I'm losing. No, you just get out, and then or you get out, or let's say it breaks out and you get I get out $100 loss. I don't wait and see if it's gonna go and take me to $200, $300, $400 loss. Right now I get out and I'm even worse. I got that big loss. So you want to have daily loss limits. You want to create your strategy. This is a business, guys. You got to look at it like a business. You know in your business, you want to have small losses. You want to have big wins, constant, right? Constant money coming in. So you do that. You protect the bottom line by doing that. And then when you take a loss, that's the cost of doing business in trading. you know what's up, Chris? Wow, bartending, huh? Doing you clean up for the night. Nice, thanks for joining. So you bartender and you say in NJ, so you're a bartender in New Jersey? I had an aunt and my cousins that used to live in Newark, New Jersey. They moved down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Yeah, it could break now. Definitely could. And 10 o'clock. Nice, yeah. There's a lot of those small little bars over there in Jersey. The 25 100 is a big level here to break in NQ consistently, and I wouldn't even care with $100 day small ones, but now it's harder for me to accept losses. Yeah, yeah. So get used to that. Get used to getting out of a trade if it's not going your way with a small loss and just cutting it, or putting that a very tight stop loss so you can get stopped out a few times. Believe it or not, and you get used to it, and then you're gonna realize that over. I think Jasani said it. This is it's a what did he say? It was a probability game, right? The higher the probability setups you get in, it's still 50-50, right? You can have it could be a higher probability setup because you have confluence in a certain area, but then all of a sudden Trump says something stupid and it just rips up or drops, or the Fed or something, right? Or news comes out. So it could always go either way, but you have to have that already in your mind. It can go another way. So if it goes the other way, then what are you going to do? I heard this trader say this once: if this, then that; if not, then what? Right? So That you got to think about all that before getting in a trade. I got in this trade here, and I didn't put a stop loss because I had my finger on the trigger because it's slow. So I could have put a stop, like during the day. I would have probably put a stop a little bit over the 50 just in case it spikes up. It takes me out. I'm not gonna wait for it to spike up. I'm already down $500-600, and I'm like, oh my god, is this gonna drop or is it gonna keep going? So you got to think about it before. What might happen, right? We don't know what's gonna happen, but we could more or less try to map out what can happen here, or what's gonna happen here, or if it drops here, okay, I might find some support there. I might find resistance up here. But have a daily loss limit. Like if you see you lost $200 or 250, let's say your daily goal is 500 or 250, then that should be similar to your loss as well, right? There it is. There goes the breakout. Right at 10 p.m. Look at that. Look at that. It held. Boom. See why it was worth getting out this trade? Then this is what makes sometimes trading these trends hard, right? Because it's going sideways, but then who buys at the top, right? It's kind of scary to buy at the top as well. So there's always a higher probability of it dropping. So then I don't get in because I could take I always tell people you could take the trade, just put that very tight stop loss. Yeah, this can very well go like we said earlier. Look, NQ could come right into this area where I said, or here, and then now this is going to be an area where it's going to most likely top out because that's where it's been topping out before. And now ES has still a move to go back up to the session high, the previous session high, back over 6,800. So 6,800 is always a big level. Yeah, definitely. Usually I say that to myself too when you see the chart like overnight, let's say, or before the open, especially like the SPY that's it's closed at the moment, but you got the futures running, and then you look at the SPY and it looks so like the pre-market is just ripped or something, kind of like today or something, and you say to yourself, well, everybody's seeing the same thing, right? Everybody's seeing the same thing. So if everybody's seeing the same thing, it might it might not work. It might not work, right? Because if everybody's thinking that this is in a supply zone and it's gonna drop, then most likely that's what they're gonna break it out. That could have been just a failed breakout here. Go back to that session high and then reject. We gotta see. It's been slow, and then a little pump up, and then slow, little pump up. So definitely the uptrend is in play. Sideways, up, sideways, maybe up again. See here, sideways, up, sideways, up. So I don't know if you guys heard this. There's the strategy where it's like you have accumulation, manipulation, and distribution, right? So this could be, as this could be manipulation overnight. So then it could, distribute right down. We don't know. And then the market's like, it's been so, it's been moving just by news. I did hear. I think it was in Bloomberg. It was in Bloomberg this morning. I think there was some analyst that was saying, and I liked his analysis. He said, you know, the institutions are buying. They're buying the dips. You know, that's why you keep seeing these moves. You know, a little bit higher. Sometimes it drops, but then you see it going back up because, yeah, and there's no, like, everybody's waiting for a crash and it hasn't happened yet because there hasn't been any you know, what's the word I'm looking for? There hasn't been any capitulation, right, to the downside. So they're just buying it up. So they buy every dip, you know, and they move it up and then they buy it again because they're believing in the fundamentals, you know, and they're just kind of like taking out the noise. Yeah, exactly. So how long you been trading, Jasani? DCA, yeah. And then that's another thing. You should have your, you know, you should have your long term portfolio, and you know where you're gonna dollar cost average into good companies, and then you have your trading, your trading account, you know, and then if you're making money in trading, you know, you're being consistent, then take out some of that money and move it over. Don't just keep on, you know, gambling it. You know, you want to take that money out and move it over into that, you know, other account and continue to, you know, to go in. You know, the big money, that's what they do. They just move money around. They're not, the money is not leaving the market. It's just shifting. It shifts to cash, bonds, shifts to, you know, equities, a certain sector, right? So it all depends. They and you could do the same, or you can just literally put money in good ETFs, you know, and then just continue to put money in there and on dips. And corrections are great. Correction could be 5 to 6%. The market drops. That's a usually a correction. That's a great time. 10% or more, you know, you could put good money in. So it seems to me around 6 to 8 months now, but that doesn't say anything. I have had extreme losses in grade. Okay. Um. Yeah. You see, it seems to me that they just pin. You know, they pin it a bit. It hits a ceiling, then breaks out a bit. They pin it again. It breaks out a bit. You know, till it doesn't happen anymore. No, and I asked Jasani because you know you have good insight in a lot of things you're saying. So you know, there's people that are very analytical. You know, they look at everything, and that's good in trading. I always say low volume pumps bring big dumps, and low volume dumps bring big pumps. You know, it's like the low volume candles, just like up and then up a little more, and then up a little more. And then you see usually during the day, and then you see like these huge red candles come. You know, they just bring it down because it's just low volume. But then when the volume comes in on the opposite side, get huge candles. So I always say low volume pumps bring big dumps, and low volume dumps bring big. Me too. I've been in IT for. I was in IT for. I would say a little longer, maybe 20. Wow, no more. Almost 27, 28 years. Um, now you know. Now I do some marketing, but for more technology side of things. And then I have my small businesses like Dialgo and Great Coffee. I have a little small coffee business with my brother, greatcoffee.co, so stuff like that. But yeah, IT people are very good in I say IT people sometimes they find themselves comfortable in the trading world because trading is data. I mean, you go to these big agents, these big firms, and what they have behind them, nerds that are creating all these algos and all these, data quants. Yeah, tell me about it. We've been on 2 hours, 10 minutes. So yeah, I would say let me give you a little thesis before getting off. Like a little map of what I see. So obviously we're in an uptrend overnight. you know, we kind of broke out the previous pivot here. So either we stay up here chopping, or we can try to go back to this, this previous pivot that also lines up with the 23.6 fib, or back to the previous day high, session high. So we got to see if we retest that. If at some point any of these levels can also become resistance, so if it drops and it breaks this area here, or this golden pocket, then we're gonna go back to retest the bottom and hang on at the bottom maybe to then tomorrow go up. So I kind of like don't like pumps after before a big news day like PPI or something, because it's kind of like, to me, it's like a manipulation if they know maybe that they're gonna dump it, so depends. I would love to see a drop tonight and it hang out overnight, so then tomorrow we have a nice move up, because what happened was that they already expanded the range, you see. So we have a trading range, you see. They expanded all the way up to 68.10, 10ish, let's say. So there's room to trade, there's volume in here, right? So it would be nice for it to come back down and then hang and then go higher. The market just doesn't want uncertainty. If they understand that, if they're already expecting for the Fed not to be raising or cutting or doing anything like that, then the market should continue to probably gravitate higher, unless he says something that they're not waiting. That's why I think the statement is going to be very important. Whatever they say is going to be important, the statement. And then I don't know when the new Fed comes in. Doesn't he come in soon, in April or May? That might be something else they're pricing in, guys. They might be pricing in that they know that this other Fed is going to be kind of like biased to Trump. So regardless of what's happening in the market, they might still cut rates and print a whole lot of money. So maybe the market knows that. I don't know. And they know that Powell is on the way out, and he's not probably going to do anything special. So business as usual. I don't know. The key is looking at your trading range, at the ranges that we have, that the market has left for us, and then that's what you trade off of. I can't turn off my computer because of what I do now, with hot trades and all that. But yes, over trading is a bad thing. Believe it or not, I used to trade like so many, and right now maybe I'll take 3 trades in a day. believe it or not, just honey, I away from my trades, and it might be a little more because now I have a couple more accounts. So if I have more accounts, I don't copy trade them. So sometimes I kind of like over here, I'll take one or two trades, get my profit target, come over here. Maybe I hit a daily loss limit, so I leave that one out. So I might take 3 to 5 trades a day, maybe 6 at most. Um, just because I have different accounts. But in one account, 2 to 3 trades, unless I'm seeing something crazy, that's worth trading. But to me, I'm happy when I make my goal. I'm good, you know. But that comes with time, like that comes with time. It actually came like gradually. I didn't. It wasn't like in my head. I was like, I gotta stop trading more less, or I gotta do more. It just happened, right? I just started realizing I'm trading a lot less now, you know. So I mean, there's people that love it. I still see some people that are, have traded for a long time and they love trading, really, quickly, scalping and getting in and out and doing it many times. And, they got even hundreds of trades in a day, but no, that's not for me. Everybody's different. I tell people that all the time. I can give you a chart. I'll show 5 people a chart, and the chart is going to be a mirror image of them. They're a pessimistic person, a person that's like a bear. He'll see these highs as, oh, this is going to drop at any moment. A person that's very let's say, I don't know, more, pumped up, I don't know how to say it, they'll say, well, this has been pumping, oh, this is just going to consolidate, it's going to go higher. You see, so everybody will see something differently, but they see it because the way that they are, they bring their personality to the trading, to the trade. Do you turn off the computer? I used to do that though. I used to kind of like disconnect from it, or if I have to, like if I have my moments where I'm just trading bad and for some reason I can't get my wins and I keep hitting my stop my loss limits, and I'm like, damn, I just sometimes don't trade for 4 or 5 days, and I just focus, But that helps also when you're kind of busy, So I always tell people, stay busy, because then it allows you to kind of like not be so obsessed with trading, because trading is an obsession sometimes. So you gotta kind of like stay busy, go to the gym, do other things, and then that'll kind of like keep you busy, you know. Nice little spike there. You see, it kind of like hangs out and then spikes. And what is NQ? Sorry. Yep, NQ did the same. NQ just hit the session highs, the previous session high. Yeah, to me, this is gonna be inside here. So I think I'm gonna call it, guys. I mean, it's nice if you can get, if you find that you always trade the trend, and unless you want to fade it every once in a while. But if you fade this one, you're gonna get smacked until it. So you trade it until it doesn't work. You see, so the trend is gonna continue until it doesn't work, right? And obviously, key levels. You see how it tapped this fib level and it just kind of like finding some resistance there. You can hang out there and then pop to the next level. So until it doesn't do it anymore. Sometimes that's also called price discovery. It's just continuing. It goes a little higher and it finds buyers. Okay, so now it continues. It finds buyers. It provides liquidity. Keep going until it doesn't anymore. And that's how you usually find those areas, right? Supply zones and stuff, because that's where you found sellers before, and that's where they'll most likely step in again. So it's gonna be interesting. The overnight, where is this gonna top out? So if there isn't any more questions, guys, I'm gonna call it, because I started at 8 at the opening of Asia. I don't know if I should even start a little later, because this thing starts really moving at 10. But yeah, if you don't have any more questions, hopefully you enjoyed the stream, learned a little. You got to watch the charts. Let's see. Oil, is oil dropping? It's probably drop. I don't know. Oil just hanging out at that demand zone. Remember, oil's inside this big range here. You see? How do you cope with a streak of losses? Yeah, I had just mentioned that. The way I do it, I just take days off. Like literally, I take those days off. I take them off. I sometimes tell people just paper trade. Because then you still scratch the itch of trading, but that doesn't help. That doesn't help sometimes because you're still trying to trade and you're still trying to, so it's kind of like literally disconnect. That's why I say have something to do on the side. If you have a business, you have a job, focus on your job, your family, friends, just take it out. And then when you get back in again to the chart, it's actually gonna feel good because remember, this is also a bit of an obsession. So when you get on it, it feels good, right? You feel that adrenaline again, you see the charts again, and it just feels good. I don't know how to explain it. You guys should know. And so if you get away from it a bit, isn't that like seeing? It's like not seeing someone that you care about, and then when you see them again, it's like, oh, you kind of like, So it's the same thing. You see the chart again, and you're like, okay, and now you reset again, right? Your brain is reset again. Okay, let's start over. You talk yourself into it. Okay, that was a bad week. I'm gonna start again from scratch. I'm not gonna, you kind of like reset. So I need days off. I need days off. I need like more than a day off sometimes. Because usually those streaks could be 2 or 3 days of streaks, right? Where you're like, damn, so I gotta make up, that the losses from yesterday, and I don't. I'm like, oh, I hit another daily loss limit, Jesus, and then the next day I hit another daily loss limit. What's going on? Or I kind of made 20-30% back or whatever. I'm like, you know what? Just forget this. I'm not gonna. You gotta learn how to just cut it and take your time, take a break. So yeah. Well, yeah, man. Of course, that's why we're here. And thanks for the questions too. I wanted to show this before leaving. I forgot. So this is my site. You're not right now. This is not available for everyone. This is my dashboard that I create my levels with, and this is all a proprietary tool I made. But if you have access to the algo, you're gonna have access to this. So there's the AA coach I was talking about. Ah, you're welcome. You're welcome, guys. So let's say right now I'm in a supply zone and price is not dropping. Just I don't know, just something that came in my head. Look at this. Look at this. It can be it can be frustrating when price hits a bearish order block supply zone, but doesn't immediately reverse. This usually indicates high bullish momentum or absorption. Yeah, of the sell orders in that zone. Here is how to handle the situation using the algo, right? It says check for confirmation. Being in a supply zone is only the first step. Have a high probability reversal. For a high probability reversal, look for the specific signals: kernel direction, the 9 EMA position, MACD and RSI. So it gives you tips, right? Monitor or for mitigation, purple zone, all the stuff that the algo has, and it kind of like teaches you a bit. Then it'll always say like a master tip or something, right? So to master this setup, I highly recommend checking out the specific. Because we have videos and stuff. But yeah. So that's pretty cool. I mean, this actually surprises me sometimes, right? And then when I hear their advice, I say, yeah, really good advice. So you see, you could be seeing something in the chart at the moment, and it'll give you some insight using using the algo, what you should be looking for in the algo. So yeah. or here, just quick questions. You put order blocks. How do order blocks work in the video? And then you have, a little boom. There he goes. So, so yeah. So I wanted to show you guys that. So when you get the algo, that's a nice. You have trained the model for your algo. Yes, yes, but don't make it too good. Yeah. Well, remember this is this is gonna be super detailed, right? Like when I read it, sometimes like, damn, it's really good, and it gives you all the different, like all the different scenarios, right? Which is kind of hard for a person to say all at once. Like now, me talking, right? I can give you all these, like, well, you got to look at this, you could look at that, or this can happen, that can happen. So, but it's cool. I mean, it came out better than I thought. AI is scary. Like I trained it, and then I said, okay, I allowed it to connect, and I was like, whoa, what is going on here? I was like, damn, you're right. It might be too good. So that's that. All right. Now I'll call it, guys. So have a good night. If you're gonna stay trading, be safe. Trade safe, put stop losses tight, and yeah. Hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. During the day, Blaze will be streaming, through the same channel, Hot Trades. Oh, we have a new partner also. It's called PropShopTrader. They pretty cool new prop firm because they have, well, they're not that new, but they reinvented themselves, and now you can do prop trading with stocks, which there are not too many that do that because you need like all these permissions from the SEC and all that. So it's pretty cool. Tomorrow, Blaze will show it a bit online. Maybe tomorrow I could take some time to show it. But they also have futures, stocks, and now they have a new account that you could do swing trading. So you could swing trade like in futures, right? So let's say I'm down here, like literally I'm in this like demand zone, let's say, and I just want to take a long, put a stop, and just leave it overnight till the next day or whatever. Or usually in prop firms, after the open of the next session, they'll cut your trades. With this one, they won't. You leave that swing going on as long as you're in the money or you're within the drawdown that they give you. Yeah. So we'll talk about it more. I'm already setting up my account, and they use something called TickPlays, another charting program that I might end up moving or adapting or porting my algo there as well. I mean, I think that TradingView is always so powerful, but you can also do like you do a Webull or anything else, right? You can have your entry, like your app for entries here, but still look at the the algo here, through the TradingView. So everybody that trades usually has 2 or 3 screens, and you can have entries here and then do something else there. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I think it's coming in a month or so. All right, so we'll leave it there. Have a good night. Thanks for the questions. Really good questions. We had a good conversation, I would say. That's what I want. I want, I know people that are watching this that aren't afraid to ask, but we're probably answering a lot of their questions, right? So that's what's important. And yeah, so have a good night, guys. Thanks for everything, Jasani. Thanks for the questions. No extendo, everybody. Erwin, thanks for joining as well, as always. Everybody, take care, man. Have a good night and trade safe.